Let's talk about kerosene pickles. Let's talk about Old Man Rimshaw. Let's talk about Barney's sidecar. It's always fun to hang out with y'all. A loaded goat is causing a stir from the panic he is creating. Come on in, take a seat. It's 2 chairs, no waiting. Sit a spell and tune right in. We are about to start the show. We have a lot to talk about with the folks that we all know. Opie, Andy, and Otis, Barney, and the darlings too. This will be amazing. It's 2 chairs, no waiting.
Episode number 852, Keeper of the Flame.
It's 2 chairs, no waiting. It's 2 chairs, no waiting. Let's start the show. 2 chairs, no waiting.
Thank you, boys, for the music, and thank you for being here. I'm Allan, the host of 2 Chairs, No Waiting. It is awesome to be here with you. I want to thank our executive producer for episode number 852, Cheryl Langill. Cheryl, send me a note if I'm not saying your name. Langill. But thank you for being the executive producer of the podcast. And I want to thank our High Sheriff of Mayberry for episode number 852, Chris Merrill. So thank you very much. And I want to thank all of our folks that are supporting me here on the podcast, either on Patreon or over on YouTube as a member over there. Thank you all. Or if you just donated through PayPal, that all works. That's how Cheryl actually did it. And we've had a few people do that. So thank you. You don't have to do that, but I really appreciate it. Get out there and share the show. Let's try to get people to watch it, or listen. Maybe they'd be better off listening and not have to look at me. Maybe that would work better. So I realized it has been since 7 weeks ago, the last time I actually did a run through of an episode of the Andy Griffith Show. We're only on season 2. We're at 852 episodes of the podcast. Now I've only done the first season and the first 13 episodes of season 2. So we got a lot of work ahead of me to get done. So we're going to be talking about Keeper of the Flame. And I know you're going to enjoy this. And what we're going to do is go through some trivia about that episode before we even start going through the run through of the episode. Now, what I'm also going to try to do is talk less and give you a little bit more shorter episode where I'm going through the episode and talking about it. But until then, let's do some trivia. And I know you're going to enjoy this. So get out your pencil and piece of paper. And here comes the trivia. So question number 1, there's 10 questions. We'll come back and give the answers toward the end of the episode. Who is the Keeper of the Flame? Who is the Keeper of the Flame? Is it Barney, Andy, or Opie? Number 2, when the episode begins, a character is being sworn in as a member of which organization? Is it the Tomahawk Club? Is it the Wildcats? Or is it the Esquire Club? Okay, who's being sworn in? Number 3, Opie is told if he doesn't do a good job, he'll fall under the spell of which curse? The curse of Myers Lake, the curse of the Embers, or the curse of the Claw? Number 4, what's the name of the cantankerous old farmer in this episode? What's his name? Is it Jubal Foster, Ben Weaver, or Turnbull Adams? Okay. Number 5, there's 10 questions. The farmer yells out, which of the following as the pack of boys, the pack of kids, is running away? He yells, peaches. Or does he yell, doggone you? Or does he say, frickle frackle? Okay, what's he say? Number 6, Aunt Bee is wrapped up in a story. What kind of story is Aunt Bee wrapped up in? Is it a radio story? Is it a romance novel? Or was it a TV soap opera? What was she wrapped up in? Number 7, what does the farmer really want the kids off his land? Why does he want them off his property? Why does he really want them off? Is it because they remind him of his late wife? Is it because they might steal his hidden fortune? Or is it because he's secretly running a still? All right. Okay, so get your answers ready. This is number 8. What does Aunt Bee find in Opie's room? Does she find starter fluid? Does she find a lighter? Or does she find a candle? Number 9. What's the farmer's initial estimate of his losses? Was it $450, $375, or $520? What's his initial estimate? Number 10. What does Andy suggest Opie adopts as his new job in the club? Is it keeper of the batteries, keeper of the flashlight, or keeper of the snacks? All right. All right, so those are our 10 questions. We'll come back and hit the actual answers as we come back in the episode, okay, as after we get finished, because I'm going to give away all these answers during the show, so I don't want to give you the questions after I've gone through things, but before. So we're going to start in now and go through the episode, kind of describe it and go through it so you know what it's all about. I'm almost 100% sure every one of you already knows what this one's all about, but we're going to play it anyway. We're going to go through this, all right? So this is about Keeper of the Flame, and this is the, I guess, summary would be our best way to call it. So in this episode, it opens with Opie Taylor excitedly joining a secret club, boys club that's known as the Wildcats. As part of his initiation, he takes a sacred oath of secrecy and is appointed Keeper of the Flame. So that's one of our trivia questions. He's tasked with safeguarding and lighting the club's candle during their meetings. The boys hold these gatherings in an old barn owned by Jubal Foster, a grumpy local farmer who secretly operates a moonshine still on his property. Now, we didn't know that at the beginning of the episode. We don't know that, but it definitely comes up in the end as the boys all have to run out of Jubal's barn because he's on his way. He's coming. And the Keepers of the Flame, they have to head out of there. The Wildcats, I mean. And Jubal comes over and he yells at them. What's he yell? That was one of our trivia questions. Jubal's frustrated because of the repeated trespassing. And he complains to Sheriff Taylor about the kids on his land. And he demands action. Andy, he's not quite aware of Opie's involvement, but he basically thinks this is pretty innocent type and downplays the issue. Even if it was Opie, he runs Jubal out of there. During one of the meetings, the boys light the candle, but they spot Jubal and they flee in panic. Opie grabs the candle and extinguishes it and hides it. And Jubal enters the barn to inspect his moonshine setup. You know, as he's already complained at the sheriff's office to Andy and Barney about those dadgum kids or whatever he says at them, that they were there. And he basically accuses Opie of being one of them boys. And so he's already seen that. And then Andy kind of, like he said, he downplays it a little bit. But Opie gathers it and he hides it and he runs out of there. Jubal enters the barn to check on his moonshine setup after he runs him off for the second time. And Jubal, he lights a lamp and all this kind of stuff and starts looking around to get his moonshine still checked and everything. But as he's doing that, he knocks over the lamp that he had brought in there, which he brought it was an old lantern, that you light, and it started the fire. He started it. He quickly salvages some of his equipment, his distilling equipment, before the barn burns down completely. But he's grabbing that stuff. At the scene of the fire, Jubal accuses the local children of being the ones who actually caught the place on fire. He says it was them. It was them boys. Them boys. I told you about them already, Sheriff. So he's basically accusing the local children, specifically pointing out Opie, because he already told Andy, I saw him, he was there, as causing the blaze, assuming their activities are to blame. Andy and Barney investigate as they head back over to Jubal's after the burned down barn and everything had happened. They head over there and start to investigate what actually happened at this event. And they promise a fair resolution to this issue. Well, when he's back home, that's when Andy finds out about Opie having the hidden candle. And Aunt Bee shows it to Andy because she's the one that found it. And, of course, he begins to suspect Opie's involvement. And when he was questioned, Opie denied starting the fire, but he refused to break his club oath that he swore because he was, if he would get cursed with the curse of the claw, if he broke his oath. So he refused to break his oath and reveal any details, leading to tension and Andy feeling disappointed in what he perceived as Opie being dishonest. Believing Opie is responsible, Andy decides to take accountability. He goes to Jubal's property and starts to talk to Jubal about how much it would cost. And Jubal estimates the barn would cost somewhere around $450. That's his original estimate. While negotiating at the Jubal's property, Barney stumbles upon the hidden moonshine. The moonshine itself wasn't hidden; it was in a bucket. But Barney takes a drink of it, and then he goes into the chicken coop and sees all the stuff. And of course, by then, though, Barney's gassed. He's lost it when he stumbles back out of there. He becomes heavily intoxicated. This tips Andy's off to Jubal's illegal moonshining as Andy finally listens to Barney, as Barney had walked up to him trying to tell him, Andy, I got something to tell you. And eventually he just breathes at Andy, and Andy says, whoa, I don't think you have to tell me. I think I figured this out. And he basically arrests Jubal for moonshining and burning down his own barn, because Jubal was still trying to get more money out of him. The $450 was his estimate, but then he started talking about he had some tools and stuff in there. That's probably another $200. So it was going to cost Andy about $650 or so to replace everything that had been lost. But he felt responsible because of Opie. But turns out it was likely caused by Jubal's own carelessness with burning down his own barn. And what's going to make a fire spread more than all that alcohol when it hits it, right? In the resolution of this particular episode, we end up seeing Andy and Opie sitting at home and Andy, I guess it's Opie's room, I guess is where we see this. And Andy starts to talk to Opie. He says he apologizes, which is pretty interesting in my opinion, for a parent to actually apologize to their child about being wrong about something that they had done or said. I think that's kind of cool. But Andy apologizes to Opie for doubting him and shares a story from his own childhood about being a keeper of a flame in a secret club. And Andy tells that his father had advised him to using something safer. Matter of fact, he indicated his dad may have given him a spanking about using matches and a candle. And he said switch him to something safer like a flashlight to avoid risk. And Andy suggests that Opie do the same thing and switch to a flashlight instead of the candle that could burn down somebody's barn, even though he didn't burn it down in this case. And Opie agrees that this sounds like a good idea. And this mends their relationship of Andy believing that that Opie had burned the barn down possibly. And it emphasizes the themes of trust and honesty and learning from mistakes, while the club, presumably the club continues more safely. And Opie decides his dad, he ain't so dumb. And that is Keeper of the flame. So there you go. So that's kind of the rundown of the episode. Now let's go back to our trivia, and we will go through the trivia and give the answers so that everybody can now, feel like you actually know the answers to the question. So here we go. We're going to run back through them. So we've got folks in our chat rooms. If you'd like to be a part of our chat rooms, I'd love for you to join us on Monday nights. You can go to imayberry.com/podcast/live. That's probably the most foolproof way of getting there. imayberry.com/podcast/live. Or if you just go to the twocairsnowaiting.com page and click the live button, you'll be able to get there as well. But here we go. Let's get our trivia questions. Now, these all come, by the way, from MeTV. So this is where these come from. And here's your first one. Who is the keeper of the flame? We kind of already went through that. I think everybody probably already got that one. The answer is Opie. Now, if you look at this, you're correct if you said Opie, and 91.86% of players who played the MeTV trivia have chosen this answer and got it correct. Okay. Number 2, when the episode begins, a character is being sworn in as a member of which organization? So Opie, as we already know, is the one that's doing it. Which organization is he joining? The Tomahawk Club, the Wildcats, or the Esquire Club? Well, from my review, it's the Wildcats. Wow, only 63.39% got that correct. So if you got it right, count yourself. Yeah, you did a good job. All right, number 3. Opie is told if he doesn't do a good job, he'll fall under a spell of which curse? Now, I love these curse names. The Curse of Myers Lakes. I like that one. Curse of Myers Lake. Of Lake Myers, it actually says. The Curse of the Embers. I think that was a good one. That would have been a really good one. Or the Curse of the Claw. So the answer is the Curse of the Claw. And 82.53% of people got that one right. So that's pretty good. A lot of people got that one. How did you do? I'm looking at our chat rooms, kind of see how it went in our chat rooms. I think they mostly are getting it. Let's see. What's the name? This is number 4. What's the name of the cantankerous old farmer? Well, you guys already know this. It was Jubal Foster. Jubal Foster, 87.74. So almost 88% of the people got that correct. Number 5. The farmer yells out, which of the following as the pack of boys are running away? As the pack of kids, it says, are running away. Does he yell, peaches, doggone ya, or frickle frackle? Now, I've never heard anybody yell frickle frackle before, and I've really never heard anybody yell, peaches either, because Jubal says, doggone ya. That's what he yells. You boys stay out here. And it's 91.45% of the people who have played this trivia got that correct. So I hope you got it, because otherwise you'll feel bad that so many people got it and you didn't. Number 6, Aunt Bee is wrapped up in a story. What kind of story is it? Now, this one's a little hard because the question gives you 3 answers: a radio story, a romance novel, or a TV soap opera. This one was a little rough to me because it was a soap opera, but it was on the radio. So it was a radio story was the answer. So 56% of the people, 56.6, got this correct. And 29.9% said it was a TV soap opera because it was a soap opera. So they kind of tricked you. They were kind of tricking you on this one. But it was definitely a radio program that she was listening to. So it's like an old radio soap opera. That's what she was listening to. Number 7. What does the farmer really want the kids? Why does he really want them off of his property? Why does he want them off? Well, it's because he's running a still. He's running a still. 98.12% got that correct. Wow, that's a lot. Number 8. What does Aunt Bee find in Opie's room? Was it starter fluid, a lighter, or a candle? Well, we know it's a candle. And 87.69%, so basically 88% of the people got that one correct. What's the farmer's initial estimate of his losses? Well, we know his initial estimate was $450. He actually started off way lower than that and kept building it up to being $450. So I'm not sure it wasn't lower than that to start with, but I guess what Andy was going to write a check for was $450. So All right, number 10, our last question. What does Andy suggest? Oh, did I tell the number there? Yeah, so 60.56% got $450. Number 10, our final question. What does Andy suggest Opie adopts as his new job in the club? Keeper of the batteries, keeper of the flashlight, or keeper of the snacks? Well, we know it could still be, I guess you could pretend it was a flame, but it was a flashlight. And 93.8% got that one correct. So how did you do? That's what I want to know. How did you do? Did you enjoy it? Was that fun? I think it's pretty fun. So now let's head over and we're going to go through odd facts known by few. So odd facts known by few. All right, here we go. So odd facts known by few about this particular episode. And I've gathered quite a few of these. In the episode, the title of the episode is a reference. The Keeper of the Flame is a reference to a political thriller, a movie by the name of Keeper of the Flame from 1942. It starred Katharine Hepburn and was who covered by a reporter and she was covered by a reporter named Spencer Tracy. So it's some kind of political thing that it was Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn in 1942, Keeper of the Flame. That's where the name of the episode came from. I thought that was kind of cool. Didn't know if you guys knew that. I did not know that. I'd never, I guess, seen that. I didn't realize that was the case. But we've got the next question here is about Everett Sloan. Now, Everett Sloan is Jubal. That's Jubal. That's who played Jubal. You may not know this, and I think a lot of Mayberry fans will know this. He's the one that actually wrote the words to the fishing hole. So the opening and closing music of the Andy Griffith Show, which is the Andy Griffith Show theme, there is a version of that has words to it, and the words were actually written by Everett Sloan, and the version with words is called The Fishing Hole. Okay, so the name of the theme of the Andy Griffith Show is not The Fishing Hole. That is a version of the theme with lyrics, and it was written by Everett Sloan himself. He wrote it. Jubal wrote the lyrics, but they were never performed on the show. You never actually heard them during the run of the Andy Griffith Show. Everett, by the way, he also appeared, one of his first movies, I believe, was Citizen Kane that he was in. Citizen Kane. So he was in Citizen Kane. This marks the only appearance of Jubal Foster during the entire Andy Griffith Show. He never came back. Never showed up again. So I don't know. They must have really sent him off to jail for a while. We had a lot of moonshiners there in Mayberry, but Jubal didn't last long at all. Let's see. Now, this episode did highlight the moonshine problem in Mayberry because, Jubal Foster was a moonshiner. We see that as a running theme throughout a lot of the Andy Griffith Show where there's moonshiners. Ben Sewell, Rafe Hollister, Jubal, the Morrison sisters. There's so many that are moonshiners. Jubal Foster, this goes to our trivia question. He quotes a price of $450 to Andy for the cost of rebuilding his barn. That's what he says it's going to cost. And $450 in 1962, 61, when this was filmed, that time frame. By the way, I didn't tell that, did I, at the beginning of the episode? This episode was actually filmed or aired in January of 1962. So it was filmed in 1961. It's January 8th, 1962. It was the 46th episode aired and filmed of the Andy Griffith Show. It's the 14th episode of season 2. The writers were Jack Ellison and Charles Stewart, and the director was Bob Sweeney. Now, $450 in 1961, when the episode was filmed, would be worth $4,862 out of the that as of the 18th of August, 2025. So that's the day I'm recording this. It would be worth $4,862. So $450 in 61 would buy as much as $4,862 now. Wow. That's why things cost more. Wow. It's 10 times. That is amazing, isn't it? So So anyway, that's how much money Andy was fixing to write a check for before he realized that Jubal was stealing everything. So in this episode, we see it when Andy and Barney drive up at the end of the episode where they're going out to pay Jubal. There is a water tower. So the water tower and shed on Jubal's farm are the very same water tower and the chicken coop on Flint's farm in the episode Ellie Saves a Female. The only difference is that in the first season, when that episode was aired or filmed, the first season, all the camera angles were from the water tower side. So they would be shooting from where the water tower is. The camera would be pointing toward the buildings from that direction. And in this episode, the camera angles are all toward the barn, or from the barn toward the water tower. So just so you kind of get an idea. So if you watch those episodes, this is the same location where they filmed Ellie Saves a Female. When Jubal enters the barn and accidentally starts a fire, that's when he goes in and starts the fire. When he comes running out, the shed has a bench on the outside of the door to the right of the door. So that's where the shed door is. After the fire, now it's possible, if you believe there was really a fire and all that kind of stuff, this could have happened. But after the fire, the bench is on the left side of the door, because when he's got all of his moonshine stuff out there and he's pouring it into the jars. Barney and Andy are driving down the road, coming around the corner, and he's taking everything in the building. The bench that he has all that setting on is on the left side of the door to the chicken coop. And before that, it was been on the right. Now, it's just a bench, so it could be easily moved, but that's an odd fact known by few that now you know as well. So it moves around. Let's see. When Jubal's running from the barn to the shed after the fire, so it's just after the fire when he's running around out here, after the fire, you can clearly see to the far left of the shed, you can see the edge of the barn. So you see the barn just a little bit to the edge. Now this is a way they shot the thing, right? So they have the shed and they have the barn. They didn't really burn the barn down. Okay, so this is what this is talking about. So you can see from the camera angle, you can see the barn on the left side of the screen. You can see that. And then later, after it had burned, they moved the camera just ever so slightly so that you can see the chicken coop and you see the burned part of the barn, but you can't see the barn itself. So what they basically did is just to the side of the barn there, they built what looks like the burned part of the barn, and they shot the camera toward the chicken coop from there. So they basically shifted the camera to the left and then pointed more toward the barn and built the burned out version of the barn right there. But the real barn is still standing. It did not actually burn. They didn't burn down the barn just to be able to film this episode. So that's something to kind of be watching for. And you can kind of see how they move the camera angle so that they could move you would see the burned part of the barn and the building behind it to give the impression that they really burned down the barn. I know I'm blowing everybody's opinion of everything. Yes, they had to really burn the barn because Jubal's barn burned down and Andy is going to have to pay for it. TV magic. That's how they did it. Movie magic. That's what they did. And if you watch it, you can kind of see that and you'll realize that's what happened. And you can see the evidence by the fence behind and to the left of the shed being visible in both shots. You can kind of see it. And when it shouldn't be visible in the earlier shot because the barn would have obscured it. So the barn would have been in the way, right? So you know they move the angles. Let's see. When Barney and Andy are driving up, Barney and Jubal is frantically stashing all of his moonshine supplies out there and putting them into the shed. let's see, Jubal, he's putting them all in the shed. There is a cow munching in the background. So if you see it, you can see a cow back in the background back there, and he's eating hay or something like that. I don't know what he's eating, but there's a cow back there. These are, again, odd facts known by a few guys. So there's a cow munching directly behind Jubal as he stands by the shed door. As Andy and Barney exit the squad car after they get out, the cow walks into the frame, so you'll see him there. So the cow instantly disappears from behind Jubal when they get out. Boom, he's just gone. So from the shot of Andy and Barney driving up, you can see the cow right behind Jubal. And when they switch from the squad car's perspective, the cow's no longer there. They didn't wrangle the cow well enough to get those shots right. But the cow disappeared. The disappearing cow. There you go. So keep watching. You'll notice that from now on. It's there 1 second and gone the very next. Boom, just gone. All right, let's see. One more here. Let's see. When Jubal runs from the shed that's burning, you can clearly see. Let me see. I'm moving the pictures back so that I can see this. It says, when Jubal is running from the shed that's burning, the edge of the barn is clearly seen in the far left of the shed. However, at the same vantage point Barney drive up, it's rigged to show. Oh, I think I already told that part. Yeah, it's already burned. It had burned. So yeah, we already went through that, and they moved it around to make it look like it didn't. All right, so now this is the very first time, by the way, guys. This is a first. Now, if you read Randy's book, you would know this, I believe. But this is the very first time of 4 that Barney gets gassed. This is one of the very first times that Barney he's completely gassed, and he did it by one drink he drank 1 cup full of alcohol of some kind, but he was completely out. That's pretty amazing. Let's see. So as Barney and Andy take Jubal into custody and they start to walk him back to the squad car, that's because they arrested him. They start to walk him back to the squad car. The background changes. So the background changes. What? I've not seen this before. It changes. It says it changes in a very improbable manner. Without the camera angle changing, the background behind Andy and Barney switches from a shed corner to a pasture fence. I don't know when that happens exactly. I'm looking at pictures here. Oh, there it is. But it is a camera angle change. But yeah, there is a shed. There is a Andy and Barney. It's not when they're walking. It's before they walk him. So they're standing there. It's when Barney's going, Jubal, Jubal, Jubal. It's right after that. When Andy first looks at Barney and says, oh, maybe you don't have to tell me. You can see the fence. And it is a different camera angle. So I'm not quite sure about that, because you're shooting one angle that's toward Andy's face and the other angle is towards Barney. So be watching for that and see if you agree with that. Odd fact known by few or not. So, but it's still a funny, great episode. And as I was saying, this is not an odd fact, but as Barney and Andy are walking Jubal to the squad car, Barney stumbles because he's so gassed, and Jubal ends up having to help Andy help Barney walk to the car. And what you see is Barney actually gets into the back seat. So what a great episode this one is. And I hope you enjoyed these odd facts known by few. So there you go. That's what I've got. That is all I've got, I do believe, for us tonight. I hope you have enjoyed all that information and running through it. And it was a treat to be involved in this episode, or just to review this episode and go through it. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. And I would love to hear whatever it is that you might have to say about this episode. If you give me a call at 888, no, not at 888. The number is 256-513-9526. 256 513-9526, or you can email me at floyd@imayberry.com, or just head over to twochairsnowaiting.com website and leave a message there. I would love to hear from you. I just want to thank you for being here and share it with folks. Let people know about the podcast, because surely out of 852 episodes, one of them people would enjoy watching or listening to. So be sure to share the ones you like with your friends. And until next time, everybody, have a great week, and we'll see you here on Two Chairs.